Okay, come to the top of your mat. Bring your feet about hip width apart. And remember, hip width is 2 fist widths. Can fit in between the arches of your feet. So from here, stand tall, chest high, crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Isometrically draw your feet toward each other. You can feel all the muscles in your legs begin to engage. From here, take your upper inner thighs, roll them towards the back. And then with your pelvis, tuck your tailbone under, tilting your pelvis back to fill up that space that you just created. That gets the base of your spine properly located for you to be able to stand up at the most direct means. From here, again, stretch the crown of your head up, tuck your chin in just a little bit. And from here, you can close your eyes, open your eyes, find something on the floor at the horizon. And the next time that you're waiting in line at Publix, this is literally what I did yesterday afternoon for about a minute and a half. And then bring the weight into your left foot. When you're ready, come up onto your right toes and then just lift your right knee up. Now your hands, the only responsibility your hands have is to keep you upright, to maintain your balance. Frankly, most of the modifications that your body is doing right now does not engage your thinking mind. The thinking mind works too slow. If you need to put a toe down, that's fine. Push your heel away. And then step down. Back to Tadasana. Let's set. Lift your toes, spread them wide, and place your toes back down. Try to grip your mat. Then weight into the right foot. Come up onto your left toes and then all the way up. You can see how high you can lift that knee. There's no contest for this. And notice that this side is easier to balance on than the other. And push the heel away. Try to lift that foot as high as you can. And then lower it back down. Back to Tadasana. On your next inhale, weight into your left foot. Raise that right knee. Bring that right knee out to the side. And then bend that knee a little bit more and bring that sole of your foot onto your calf, or onto your thigh, coming into tree pose. It really helps if you are not looking at anything that's moving. Balance is something that you should be working on every day. The great time to do it is when you're brushing your teeth, or when you towel off and then down, when you're toweling off after you took a bath, back to Tadasana. Weight into the right foot, lift the left up, and then rotate to the left. And then when you're ready, come into tree pose. You can always use a hand to help get that sole of your foot in the right location for you. But once you get to the Olympics, it detracts to that. And then release. Step that out. The reason for doing the balance work is it helps create more connections between your neurons in your brain. Getting your brain, your brain's neuroplasticity, really fancy word that just means it's creating new connections that is keeping your brain healthier so that you will stay vibrant and be able to be on your own right up until the day that you die. So now, you notice I was playing with the block here. Grab all of your blocks. All you need is one. Well, this is going to have to be quick. So put one foot on your block. Start with the right foot. If you want to start with the left, go ahead. Okay, if you have a really big foot, you can grab the front end with your toes, that's fine. And then come up and lift your left knee. And enjoy the squishing. And maybe you can come up into tree pose, maybe not. And release. Step that down. Flip your block over, just in case that footprint bothers you. I'm always looking for an excuse. Put your left foot up on. Spread your toes wide. And then when you're ready, step up. Lift the right knee. And if and when you feel comfortable, go into tree pose. And your tree here can be radically different. The way my hips are moving, I think I could have a hula hoop. And then enough. Okay, release, step that out. Maybe do that hula hoop a little bit. Okay, now we're going to start the yin portion. So I'm going to start in a seated position. Now you can go to a regular cross-legged position, or here's another option of coming into a hero's position where your knees are a little bit wider, or maybe you're just sitting on top of your heels. I'm in more of a saddle position with a little bit of cushion underneath my bum. But this is particularly good if you do a lot of walking or hiking or running. You have really tight quads and tight calves. This will stretch those out, all for the price of meditation. And be sure if it becomes too much at any time, change positions. So from here, lift your spine tall, lift the crown of your head up towards the ceiling, tuck your chin again, take a deep cleansing breath into your nose, and exhale it out through your nose. Take another cleansing breath in through your nose, out through your nose. And let your breath come to its own natural rhythm, in and out through your nose. Just let your muscles soften. And observe your breath. Allow your eyes to close and turn inside, where you can see what's going on more easily when your eyes are closed. You can feel where that breath is racing to. You can feel that breath running down the back of your throat on the inhale, where that air is getting warm. Some final preparation for your lungs. Notice your exhales. Do you push all the air out of your lungs consciously, or do you just let your body do what it knows how to do on its own? As you breathe in, your diaphragm pushes your organs down, and it creates a vacuum inside your lungs. That's what draws the air into your nostrils and down the back of your throat. And for exhaling, your diaphragm doesn't do any work at all. It's the other organs jostling for their original position that help push the air back out. Begin to deepen your breath. Open your eyes. Make sure you have your strap handy. If you're in a cross-legged seat, that's good. Just straighten out your legs, push them forward, bring your hands behind your hips, push your heels away, Maybe rock your feet one side to the other. And then bring your strap and place it across your lap, and then come all the way down onto your back. From here, draw your right knee up into your chest and give yourself a squeeze. Just your right leg, push your left heel away. It may allow that right knee to come up a little bit more. And then grab the middle of your strap and place it over the ball of your foot. Grab the outside or the ends of the strap with both hands, with your knuckles facing, with the back of your hand facing you. And then rotate, I don't know what direction that is, that's both directions, but rotate your fingers towards you and then fold in again over the top of your strap. And now you're bound. From here, draw that strap down by pulling outwards. So this is a yan pose, a strength building pose that's using your back, the muscles in your back to help draw your scapula together, creating tension. And then carefully change your strap to just your right hand. So grab both hands with your left hand and then take your right hand underneath and to the left. And reach around and grab the strap with your fingers. And then just put the other end of your strap over your thumb. From here, rotate your toes out about 10 or 15 degrees. Bring your left hand to the top of your left thigh. You don't want that thigh to be coming up off of the mat. And then over the course of the next 3 or 4 breaths, begin to lower that right leg off to the side. And you can always adjust the length of your strap. You don't want your leg to ever get down to the floor. So if it does get there, just increase the amount of tension. And maybe you can use the floor to support your elbow. Maybe you need a block to lift your elbow up enough. But you want to be able to relax everything except your mind. Try to soften the muscles in that right leg. You can feel this in your groins, a bit in your hamstrings, and also in your hip flexors. The more you draw that foot towards the wall beyond your head, the more you're going to get into your hip flexors and into your hamstrings. On your next inhale, bring your leg all the way back up onto the ceiling. And pause there. And then begin to bend your knee, and when it's convenient, release the bind, put the strap aside. Draw your knee into your chest, give yourself a squeeze. And then add the other knee. And rock from left to right. massaging your spine. Our next pose will start in a seated position, so you can cross your ankles and rock frontwards and backwards until you come all the way up. We'll work to Marichi. So for Marichi again, get your feet about hip width apart. Push your heels away. And then bend your right knee. And bring your right heel up towards your sit bone. You don't have to get it all the way there. But you want to be able to be, if you can be so fortunate to fold forward enough to get inside that right knee, that's what you're looking to do. But to start, sit up straight, grab onto your right toes if that works. Otherwise, if your shoulder can come in front of that right knee, that's great. Inhale high, and then exhale, forward fold. I'm just going to be here about 5 breaths. Stretch out your back. With each inhale, maybe you can lengthen your spine just a little bit more. And exhale, fold forward a little bit more. Fifth inhale. Exhale. On your next inhale, sit all the way up. Bend your left knee. And bring that left heel right in contact with your left sit bone, right sit bone. And then replace your right heel. From here, just with your left hand, grab onto your right knee and bring your right hand around behind your back. Lift your spine tall and then lower your scapula. Lower that right shoulder blade. And exhale, twist to the right. Allow your eyes to close. And then seek softness wherever you are. You may be able to be feeling this in your obliques. Those are the muscles that attach from your bottom ribs to your pelvis. And your abdominals, which attach again from the bottom ribs and your sternum all the way down to your pubic bone. See what you feel in the back. Your fascia is the only thing other than your skin that is continuous across your back. All your muscles stop at your spine. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next exhale, come back to center. Bring your legs forward. Bring your hands behind your hips. Maybe do a couple of windshield wipers. And the next time you come to center, pause. From here, you're in the perfect position to get into Swan. We're still working on the right side, so bend your right knee so that your shin is roughly parallel to the front of your mat, but that's just the starting point. I know my shin is going to be coming back at almost a 40-degree angle, but from here, you can roll over onto your right hip and bring that left knee back. You can stop here in deer if that's your practice, or you can bring that left foot all the way back, coming into a conventional swan. But stay high here to begin with. Push your toenails down into the mat on your left foot. The object here is to drop your hips as low as you can get to the mat. So the target of Swan are your glutes and your hip socket. And you can reach back and just feel which parts of your glutes are engaged. And it might be both the maximus and the medius. And that was not the meatiest. But from there, if those muscles are really screaming, you can always tuck a block underneath those glutes, and miraculously your muscles will relax. If you'd like to walk forward with your hands, now would be a good time. You can come down onto your elbows. I found that it's much more relaxing if you can use a block underneath your sternum. And know that you're not supposed to have any sensation at all in your right knee. But if you can release all your weight off of your arms through a block on your sternum, it really helps this pose. You get a lot more tension going into your hip, stretching the biggest muscle in your body, your gluteus maximus. Your glutes are the muscles that draw your legs back. And your hip flexors are those that draw your legs forward. They work together, but in opposition. Now you can modify this a little bit and dial in where you want to feel this pose. If you want to feel this pose a little bit more into your maximus, which is closer to the center of your spine, you can walk your hands off to the right. And you can, again, check with your hand to see if you're, it's really hard to detect exactly where it is when you don't have a way to gauge it. Or if you'd like to have it a little bit more towards the outside glute, your medius, you walk your hands, chest over to the other side. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, into walk your hands back to center. Straighten up your arms. Walk your hands closer to your hips. Release your right leg back to meet the left. You can do some cat-cows. You can make circles with your hips. And you can lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Whatever works best for you. And then when you're ready, lower your knees down. Come onto your favorite hip. Swing your feet around to the front of the mat. Lower all the way back down onto your back. Make sure you have a block within reach. You may not need it, but you may find it handy. From here, draw your knees into your chest, give yourself a squeeze. Rock or make circles on the ceiling. And then release one leg at a time out to the front of your mat. And bring your arms up towards the ceiling. Rotate them down towards the wall beyond your head. And stretch from your heels to your palms, feeling all the muscles on your backside, all the way from your heels to your wrists, and then toes away from your fingers. You can feel this stretch coming across the muscles of the front part of your body. And then just relax your arms down. This next pose is banana. And banana, your hips are fixed to the floor. They cannot move. To start, scooch your shoulders, head and shoulders off to the left of your mat. You can do that by pushing your head into the mat and then moving your shoulders a little bit. You can do it 3 or 4 or 5 times until you have a little bit of tension in your right side body. And then walk your feet over towards the left side of your mat, keeping your hips where they were. And just double check that your right hip is down. From here, if you'd like to intensify this a little bit, you can grab onto your right wrist with your left hand and just push that wrist a little bit farther away. Use your breath to lengthen the right side body. Maybe you want to start breathing into your upper right lung, really close to your armpit. And then feel the stretch. The next breath a little bit lower down. And continue all the way down to your kidneys or so. You find that your organs are getting squashed and they're objecting. Just breathe diaphragmatically. You have to do breathing big into your belly. They'll get them outside the range of your ribs. And as they go back, they'll be much more comfortable. If you'd like to intensify this, you can lift your right foot up a couple of inches and place that straight right leg over the top of your left ankle and lower it back down. And from here, just relax. Relax your whole right side of your body. Make sure that that right hip is down. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next exhale, uncross your legs and walk them back to the center of your mat. Carefully scooch your head and shoulders back to center. Using both hands working together, help your arms to come forward. And then walk your footprints up to your sit bones. Draw one knee into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Add the other knee. Make some circles on the ceiling. And go the opposite direction. And the next time you come to center pause, our next pose is going to be in a seated position. So from here, again, you can rock forwards and backwards. And come up. And the next pose is butterfly. So butterfly, bring your soles of your feet together. Your knees will splay out. Now, your feet don't have to be right up to your sit bones. They don't have to be really far away. But find some place that's comfortable. This is a groin stretch primarily, opening up your hips. It's also a spine lengthener. So inhale your spine tall. On your exhale, walk your hands forward. Drawing your collarbones towards the front of your mat and the crown of your head towards the far wall. And when your body asks you to pause, pause there. Just let your knees fall out. If you want to use a block or two to support your head, go ahead. If you have an urge to pull on your legs, that's a different class. Let your spine round, let your head fall forward. Maybe bend your elbows. And let your shoulder blades just drift on top of your ribs. Notice where you're feeling this. You may be in a different place than normal. See if you can observe individual muscles as they relax, whereas if they release just a little bit more. Sometimes you'll discover a wave where each successive muscle begins to release the tension. And as that happens, that's when the tension goes into your fascia, stimulating its growth. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, rise all the way back up. Set any blocks you might have used aside. Bring your hands behind your hips. Bring your footprints onto the mat. They can be together, they can be wide, they can be one close, one far, and windshield wiper your knees from one side to the other. Experiment with your locations on these windshield wipers because you'll discover something different every time. And the next time you come to center, pause. From here, straighten out your legs. Come down onto your elbows, all the way onto your back. Bring your arms towards the ceiling and towards the far wall. And stretch again. This time, it's banana on the right side. So the first half of the class, you were working on your right side. This time, you're working on your left side. So your hips can't move. The rules are the same. Scoot your head and shoulders over to the right side of the mat. It's always good to leave your head with your shoulders. And then, again, with your hips stationary, walk your feet to the right until you get a nice stretch along your left side body. And pause there. This might be all that you want right here. This might be too much. You can always back up. This pose has a habit of growing in intensity as the minutes wear on. But if you'd like to intensify this, maybe stretch that left arm a little bit longer by pushing away with your right hand. And if you'd like to increase this intensity a little bit more, put on your lower body, lift your left leg up a couple of inches, and then lower that straight left leg over the top of your right ankle. Feel that stretch all the way from your ankle, all the way up to your wrist. Breathe into your side body. Maybe you can feel your serratus muscles. Those are the muscles that go from the front of your ribs, right near your sternum, all the way around to your scapula. They're stabilizing muscles. You might be able to feel your intercostal muscles, those muscles that hold your ribs together. And if you're feeling a stretch from your bottom rib to your pelvis, those are your obliques. Feel them softening. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next exhale, uncross your legs. Walk your feet back to the center of your mat. Slowly and carefully, bring your shoulders and your head back to center. And then bring your arms back down by your sides. Slowly walk your footprints up towards your sit bones. Draw one knee into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Get the other knee. Stretch out your shoulders by pushing your knees away. And you're holding on, and then rock from left to right. And then cross your ankles and rock forwards and backwards. Come up. From here, we're in the perfect position for Swan. So bend that left knee, bring the left ankle roughly parallel to the front. Come up onto your left hip. Bring the right knee back behind. You can stop in deer pose if that meets your desire, or you can straighten out that right leg all the way to the back. And if you do have tension or sensations in that left knee, you can always bring that left heel in closer to the center line of your body. Put your toenails back down onto the mat. Again, the target of this pose are your left glutes. And when you're ready, you can walk your hands forward. You can use a block underneath your sternum. You can do this pose in stages like me. Use the block in medium height to support my sternum. And when my glutes have softened enough, I'll change it to flat and then get rid of it completely. Learn what your body wants and needs as it seeks to stretch the muscles and then soften. Your arms do not have to be out in front. You can have your arms out to the side if that makes more sense to you. If it helps your body to relax. And you can always move your chest towards your knee if you want to direct the tension. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, bring your palms to the mat. Straighten out your arms, lifting up your chest. Walk your hands back towards your hips. When you can release that left leg, do so. Do some cat-cows or circles with your hips. Or you can lift up into downward facing dog. Do what's best for your body. And then on an exhale, come back down. Come back over onto a hip and come into a seated position. What we have, another Marichi. So, you want your hips up a little bit higher, go right ahead. Let's start with your feet about hip width apart. And then bend your left knee. Bring that heel in. Doesn't have to be real close. Inhale your spine tall. And exhale, forward fold. This side may be radically different than the other. Everybody here has a different history for your body. Each side of your body has a different history. Unless you're perfectly ambidextrous, one side is stronger and dominant, and the other side is weaker and more flexible. Both are good. On your next exhale, release. Inhale, sit up. This time, grab your left knee with your right hand. Bring your left arm behind you use your left hand as a kickstand. Inhale your chest high. Make sure that your chest starts by being square to the front of the mat. Go get your hips square. Inhale and then exhale. Twist to the left. Lower that left shoulder blade down. You may feel like it's being rotated down. And then lift the crown of your head up. Close your eyes, turn inside. When you do that, maybe you can feel different things. Maybe you can feel muscles that want to release, but don't know how. Breathe into those muscles. Give them encouragement. The only muscles that should be engaged right now are with your left shoulder and your right arm. Begin to deepen your breath. And your next exhale, return to center, release the leg, straighten out your legs, bring your hands behind your hips. You can do windshield wipers if you wish. You can do a yoga bicycle. Whatever feels best. The next time you come to center, pause. From here, stretch out your legs to the front of the mat, come down onto your elbows. Make sure you have your strap. Maybe a block to support your arm. All the way down onto your back. Stretch your heels away. Stretch your arms away. And then bring your left knee up into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Push your right heel away. Feeling that hamstring. Feeling your quads stretch on your right leg. And then grab your strap and place the middle of your strap across the ball of your foot. Grab the ends of your strap with each hand and make your bind. Lift that foot up onto the ceiling. Push the heel away. Maybe you want to draw that foot towards the wall beyond your head. You really feel that hamstring. And pull your arms outward. And then carefully change your bind to just your left hand. Turn the left foot out about 15 degrees. Bring your right hand to the top of your right thigh. And then slowly lower that left leg to the left and down, knowing that that foot will never reach the floor. You may have to increase the tension. That's okay. You may have to adjust the length of your strap, which is okay. But once your elbow's on the floor, if it gets on the floor, find a way to soften. Check to make sure your right hip hasn't lifted up. Soften your lower belly here. Soften the backs of your thighs. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, slowly lift that leg back up onto the ceiling. Bend the knee. And when it's convenient, release your bind. Draw that knee into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Add the other knee. Give both knees a big squeeze and rock from left to right or make big circles. One more time on the ceiling. And then the opposite direction. And the next time you come to center pause, from here, release one foot out to the front corner of the mat. And then release the other out to the other corner. Push your heels away. Make sure your legs are the correct distance apart. Maybe roll your feet from left to right. And then rock your hips a little bit, left to right. Make sure that you're just in the perfect position for Shavasana. Bring your arms by your side or out from your sides. Maybe if you want, you can walk your shoulder blades underneath your chest a little bit more. Stretch your neck out long. Lift your head an inch. Tuck your chin. And gently lower back down. Release all the energy from your hands and your toes and your feet. Take a deep cleansing breath into your nose. And exhale it out through your nose. Take another cleansing breath into your nose. Out through your nose. And take rest. I'll be coming around adjusting some of you. I will not be able to get to everyone, but if you do not want me to touch you, just wave me away when you hear my footprints. Begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back into your space. Bring movement to your fingers and to your toes. To your wrists and to your ankles. Gently roll your head from left to right. And when you're ready, walk your footprints up towards your sit bones, drawing your knees into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze and rock from left to right, massaging your spine one last time. And then the next time you're over on your right side, pause there in fetal pose for just a moment as you scan your body to detect any unwanted tension or stress that may be hiding in your tissues so that you can address them later this week. And then using the strength in your left hand, push the floor away and rise up to a seated position. Thank you for sharing your yoga practice with me this afternoon. Thank you for taking the time and effort and dedication to your own body to improve it, to keep it healthy through the practice of yoga. Take the compassion and the empathy that you practice here on your mat with you everywhere you go and share it with each person you might meet. Namaste.
Namaste.
My name is Clint, and this has been Yin Yoga. Thank you for coming.